So I'm Victor Agren. I do everything at Dead Toast Entertainment.
And you guys are showing off my friend Pedro here at PAX West. You announced this at E3. Talk about the game. What are some of the high order bits that you would like to tell people about?
So we normally go with the pitch for the game of. So my friend Pedro is a violent ballet about friendship, imagination, and one man's struggle to obliterate anyone in his path at the behest of a sentient banana. Gameplay-wise, that would translate to something like it's sort of a 2D run and gun. Platforming action game with 3D graphics, with a high focus on acrobacy and like feeling badass basically when you play it.
So, speaking of feeling badass, a lot of the game you have guns akimbo, you're dual wielding weapons. Were you influenced by video games when you made that design decision, or is it more like Chow Yun-Fat and like old school movies that got you into that?
I would say my main inspiration was probably The Matrix, and then followed by like Max Payne and all of that jazz. And then there's a film called Equilibrium as well. So I think that's probably the main sort of starts the main inspiration for the gameplay. Then there's also a film called Shoot 'Em Up, which has that like it's an action comedy, but it's like if you just look at it, you'll think like, oh, it's just an action film, but if you look closer, you see it's completely ridiculous. Like it's super silly. So I want a little bit like that vibe where, maybe at first glance you see a GIF or something from the game, and you're like, oh, that's cool. But then you look closer and you're like, okay, this is actually like it knows that it's quite ridiculous. So I'm trying to lean onto that a bit.
And a large part, and I would say a large part, but a core part of the gameplay is this bullet time slowdown mechanic that's in here. What games did you look at? Was it Max Payne, or were you thinking like? Because I haven't really seen many 2D side-scrolling games implement that kind of gameplay mechanic. So, what did you look at as inspiration for that?
I would say Max Payne is probably the big one. But there was some like a Half-Life modification called The Specialists. And there's some action Half-Life was another one as well, I think. But Specialists specifically, they had like. You could jump off walls and like do slow motion and things like that as well. So I think that was a bit of an inspiration as well. But I think like generally like before I did this, I used to work at Media Molecule on Little Big Planet and Terrorway. But mainly like say working on Little Big Planet, it sort of taught me like in 2D. Like there's quite a lot of stuff going on in the game, but if you keep it to 2 dimensions, it's a bit more easy to process, sort of thing. So with that, you can go even crazier with the action in the game, basically.
And you're an indie developer. This game's coming out on PC and Switch. Talk about the environment right now, how vibrant it is for indies, especially with Nintendo Switch being this new platform that's like really adopting indies in a big way. How does it feel from an indie perspective, looking at the market when you're making a game like this?
I guess it's like, so I've been working on this for almost 4 years now. And I guess when I started, like the climate was different as well. But even at that point, like there's a lot of really good games coming out, like from indies from all sides. So it's always that little bit of scary thing, like, oh, will it get attention? Will it will people like it? Will people see it to even make a judgment? I feel extremely lucky to be in a position where like I'm here. I have a big wall with the it's people queuing to play the game. That's amazing to me. So the climate, I guess it's a lot of things going on. But I don't know. I just keep sharing things from the game, keep like trying to be vocal with it, and it seems like it can make it work, I guess.
And how has been your relationship working with Devolver Digital? They've kind of taken you under their wings. They have this awesome booth set up for you here at PAX West. How has that relationship been like? How did your game get picked up by them?
The relationship has been amazing. It's just basically after we signed, it was just like, well, you make your game. When it's time to do all this stuff, they like kicking the muscles, and I mean, it's been amazing. But so before I signed with Devolver, it was basically I've been working on the game for maybe a year, and I put out a trailer and some GIFs and things, and then they noticed it, sent me an email saying, hey, we're here if you want to talk. So then we talked, and things happened.
Another gameplay mechanic that I saw is vehicles in this game. I don't think we saw that at E3 as much. What are you taking inspiration for to make a game like this? Are you looking at like old school games like Excite Bike, or what kind of, because this is, once again, you're keeping that side-scrolling presentation, but you're making it a 3D experience still.
Yeah, so it's there's an old game called Elastomania. That was a little bit of inspiration for the motorcycle chase section. But the point of that is more like it's a bit of a boss stage. So every once in a while in the game there will be a level that sort of changes things up a bit. So like you only play the motorcycle once in the game, and then later there's other sections that are different.
One thing I really love about the presentation is this game feels very cinematic. What kind of efforts, what engine are you running on, and then what kind of tools have you had to make to allow for your presentation to look as cool as it does?
So the game is made in Unity, I'm not really sure. Like the way I just make things is I have some sort of sense, some feeling, and then I just try to make it roughly like that. Or if like a cool accidental thing happens, then like, oh, maybe I'll take that direction. So it's, I don't know. I don't know. I do this all day, and then something happens.
How big is your team?
It's just me doing it.
Holy crap!
Apart from the music and switch porting, basically. So yeah, but like yeah.
So this is your baby, and you've been working on it for 4 years. What's the release window, and what else can we expect that maybe we haven't seen yet?
Well, expect the unexpected. Hey, so the release window is early 2019 on PC and Switch, basically.